What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? It's me, your big partner, Cartoon One, the Village Storyteller. As you know, on this channel, I give you my stories. They're not true. They're not real. Person, places, and things are all fiction. They're all made up for the enjoyment of the listeners to have something to do while they're on their way to work, on their way home from work, while they on break, or just while they lounging around the house, just want to hear something instead of picking up a book to read. They got a book. They got a story that I give them. Now that being said, on to the story. Forgive me for chewing. I had a sucker. Good though. Strawberry and chocolate goes together, y'all. But anyway, story starts, man, in the West. In the early 1800s, in the Wild Wild West. Man, you got some cats, man, that really don't know how rough and volatile things were in the Western days back then, when they were trying to conquer the land. They, as in you know. But anyway, they were trying to conquer the land, and make it more hospitable for settlers to come in. It wasn't hospitable at this time. The Indians were running rampant, war parties everywhere. They was killing up. They you know what I'm saying. They was hurting everything that they ran across, burning up cabins. You know what I'm saying, doing what they did to the settlers, just making it hard. And so the cavalry, the American army at that time, the cavalry, they had a hard job cut out for them. Man, they had a hard job cut out for them. But for those who don't know, at that time, this was the beginning of the black man getting into the army. Getting into the army. And so they were what was known as buffalo soldiers. The blacks were the original buffalo soldiers. And the Indians gave them that name because of the texture of their hair. It felt like the wool of a buffalo. So they were known as the buffalo soldiers. But now a lot of times when Indian war parties would ambush the patrols, the cavalry patrols, and go to killing them, sometimes they would let the blacks go, because in their hearts it wasn't an issue with the black soldiers. Sometimes they did them in, sometimes they would let them go. You know what I'm saying? It was sort of kind of like back in the day during the Vietnam War. Sometimes the Vietnamese, when they would catch the black soldiers, they would ask them, why are y'all even over here? Why y'all even fighting against us? What have we done to y'all? What we got to, they couldn't understand it, what the black man was doing over there fighting against them. The story goes on. But anyway, this is a story about a patrol that was ambushed. Now, the patrol had two brothers. Now at that time, a patrol was like 15 soldiers, horseback and all their gear. Now, this patrol had two brothers in it. And it was hot. It was hot. It was over in New Mexico at the time. And they had just left out the fort because they had been getting a lot of requests for help throughout the land of New Mexico at this time, which at this time New Mexico was a new frontier. And settlers that was coming in was getting, was getting slaughtered. They was getting done bad. And so the powers that be sent word down to the fort, hey, look, man, you need to secure this area. We need to make it safe for the settlers that's coming in. So, the cavalry would run patrols every day. The Indians at this time, they were watching. They wanted to knock one of these patrols off real bad. So as the cavalry was coming and, making their way through, the land, checking out to see, going to all of the settlers that they knew where they lived, making sure it wasn't burnt, hurt, none of that. But now, little did they know the whole time, you had an Indian war party on their heels. And they was just biding their time, waiting for the chance to attack, the chance to pounce. So anyway, that night came, and when the cavalry set up the beds and all that, they put a big fire in the middle, and they had their patrols. I mean, not the patrol, but they had the watch out. The watch was no good, man. These Indians were silent. They were silent killers, man. You couldn't hear them coming. The only time you knew they was there is when their knife was going into your throat or into your stomach or into your back. And so it was the cavalry posted 3 guards, and they, every 3 hours they switch them out with, boom, you'd switch out. The first patrol never got not the patrol, but the first watchers, the guards, they never got a chance to be switched out. Man, the Indians, they took their time, man, they got up on them. I'm talking about, man, they were so stealthy and down that, man, one soldier was standing there, and he did not even know. The Indian blended in with the shadows so tough that he didn't know it was an Indian laying on the ground right at his feet. And he didn't know. He's sitting there watching out, looking over the land for any type movement, anything that was going to happen. Lo and behold, it was over with. The Indian was right there at the thing. So the Indian rose up, caught him, yoked him up, bang, off with his throat. All the other guards that were posted got the same thing. So when the Indians, they came in, they surrounded the camp, they attacked. Man, it was fighting. It was hand-to-hand fight. It was going everywhere. But now you got to remember, it was only 15 cavalrymen. Only 15. So the Indians hit them with overwhelming odds, overwhelming numbers. So boom, as they doing their thug thizzle with them, the two black soldiers, they was fighting valiantly. I'm talking about they was valiantly fighting. They was getting down for their grits and gravy. You know what I'm saying? They was doing what they do. But now the Indians got them when they finally subdued them. They had went on and done away with all the white soldiers, with the 13 other white soldiers. And so the only 2 black soldiers that was left, the war party chief told them, you know what? Bind them up. Bind them up. So when they bind them up, boom, you know what I'm saying? Now, at the time, the soldiers, the 2 black soldiers, they didn't know what the Indians were saying. They could not speak that language. So here it is. They gaffled them up, boom, put them on horse, and they took off with them. They left all the soldiers right there for the birds to get. So here it is. By the time they made it back to the Indian encampment, the night it went away, they went through the morning, and it was like noontime the next day. So now the 2 black soldiers were scared. They didn't know what was going to happen. They'd heard all these old hideous stories of torture, bad treatment. They just didn't know what it was. So listen, when they got to the Indian encampment, the Indians took them off the horse and they walked them to see the head chief. Now, they walking through a gauntlet. You had women and children and Indians on both sides of them, and they walking down the middle of them. Now, here it is. The women hitting them with rotten fruit, rotten vegetables. The little kids running up, poking them with stuff, hitting them. They stumbling. They tired. But now they not finna try to do anything because they know their life depended on whatever was the next move was at this time. So anyway, when they got to the Indian chief, he tried to talk to them. They couldn't understand what the chief was saying. But now, the chief had an interpreter. One of his wives, she could speak English. Where she learned to speak it at, nobody knew. But she could speak English. So now when the Indian spoke his words, his wife was saying the words in English to the 2 black cavalrymen. So the Indian chief, he said something, and then the woman spoke up. She said, the chief said, um, why are you here? Why are you riding with them fighting against us? So now the two black cavalrymen, they looked at each other like, whoa, a light bulb went on. We might can make it up out of here. We might can make it up out of here. So now they went to lying. They start telling lies off the bat. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to live. You know, even back then, man, we wasn't no fools. So now one of the black soldiers say, look, we didn't want to be out here. They made us be out here. We slaves. They made us fight. We didn't want to fight. We ain't got nothing against y'all. We don't want nothing to do with what the white soldiers got going on. So now the whole time she's interpreting, she's telling the chief this. So now the chief said something back. And so now she interpreted it back to the two black cavalry soldiers. She said, the chief says, he has no animosity towards you, but he doesn't like the fact that you were with those soldiers coming and looking for his people to hurt his people. So the black dude spoke up. He said, no. Hold on now. Hold on. He said, look, we ain't never did nothing to no Indians. We ain't never shot at no Indian. We ain't never hurt no Indian. We ain't never did nothing to no Indian. Matter of fact, one time we found an Indian hurt, and I gave him some water and helped him make it back to where he was trying to go. Now, of course, he lying like a big dog, but now he popping that corn part 5, you know? So she relaying this to the Indian chief, and the Indian chief was like, okay. He say, look, I'm going to spare your life. But this ain't what the Indian chief, he said, rah. She's giving it to the black soldiers. She said, look, the Indian chief said he's going to spare your life. He said under one condition, that you don't come out here no more trying to fight or do what the white man having you do and try to hurt my people. So now they looked at each other now, because now they knowing, oh shoot, this our ticket right here. Man, we can get the F up out of here. So he said, okay. Now the black dude went to Pop and he said, man, look, we don't even want to go back. We don't even want to go back. Because if we go back, they going to put us back on them horses and try to have us coming back out here shooting at y'all. We don't want to do that. He said, matter of fact, man, look, can we just stay with you? Let us stay with you. So she relayed this back to the chief. So the chief shook his head. He said some brrrr. So now she relayed it to them. She say, the chief says that you can stay. If you don't cause no problems, you can stay. He said he's going to take it to council and see what the council says. And if the council say it's okay for you to stay, then we will take you into our tribe and make you our brothers. So they laughing, they looking at each other like, yeah, that's what's up. Man, that's what's up. Yeah, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. So now the two brothers, they went to like, man, we going to help y'all. We know everything about them. Man, we going to help y'all, man. We going to show you how to get into the fort if you want to. We going to show you what routes they be taking. The whole hookup, man. We don't like them neither. So she relayed this to the chief, and the chief's like, okay. So now they kicked it. By this time, it's getting dark. So the chief said, listen. She gave it to them, interpreted what the chief said. She said, look, we only have 2 teepees with room for one more person right now. Those are the teepees you will go into. But both teepees have the daughters of the chief. So they looked at her, huh? So she said, yes. His two oldest daughters, one live in that teepee, one lives in this teepee. She said, you'll live in that teepee for tonight, and you'll go in that teepee for tonight. So they looked at each other like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, cool. So now the Indian, so she relayed back to the Indian chief that they were like, okay, it's yeah, no problem. So now the Indian chief, he popped. So she look at him. She turned. She look. They look at. They look back. They looking back like, like, what's up? She said, listen. The chief says, do not. I repeat, do not touch my daughters. Whatever you do not do anything with my daughters. He said, if you do, you're out of here. You know what I'm saying? So the two black dudes like, okay, yeah, no problem, man. Man, we ain't gonna do none of that. we ain't gonna mess with your daughters or none of that. Said, okay. She relayed back to the chief that the two black soldiers agreed that they were not going to touch his daughters, that they would conduct themselves in a correct manner, and everything was going to be okay. So now the chief popped back on. So now here it is. She tells the soldier, she's like, okay, the chief says, good. Come tomorrow, we will make everything official that y'all can become part of the tribe, and you will ride with us, and you never have to worry about nothing else again. You will always be free. So the dude's like, yeah, man, that's what's up. So now here it is. A little bit more time goes by. Now everybody's retiring, going to their teepees. So now one of the brothers, he like, man, listen. He talking to the other brother. He say, listen, man. He say, I know you. I know how you are. What you talking about? He said, man, don't mess with that woman, man. He said, man, I ain't gonna mess with her. She probably fat and ugly and all that. He said, I don't care what she look like. Don't mess with that woman. I know how you are. He like, man, I ain't gonna do it. Promise me you ain't gonna do it. Man, promise me you ain't gonna do it. Man, I'm not gonna do it. He like, all right. I'm telling you now, don't mess this up. This our chance, man, to do what we want to do, however we want to do it. He like, man, I ain't gonna mess it up. Okay. He looking at him like that. He go to his teepee. The other one go to his teepee. Now, of course, he thinking in his mind, like I say, the chief got big old fat, nasty daughters. You know what I'm saying? Stank, teeth missing. This is what he thinking. So when he knocked the flap back and went up in the teepee, I wish I had sound effects. Oh! She was double OG bad. Man, she sit over there looking like Sally Richardson. You know what I'm saying? Eva Mendes. Ooh, bad. He looked. He come. He said, "How you doing? She couldn't speak a lick of English. He was like, man, he trying his best to communicate with her. So anyway, we fast forward. Now here it is. Man, late that night, I say about 1 o'clock in the morning, all you heard throughout the camp was wahoo, 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 wahoo. All night. Wahoo, wahoo. Okay, so anyway, time goes on. The next morning came. The tribe, they bustling around, they getting ready for their day. They eating, they getting they smoke fires ready. You know what I'm saying? They get ready to go. War parties get ready to go out and all that. So the chief sent some of his warriors to go get the two black soldiers. So they get him out the tent. They bring him up to him, and the chief, he okay. The same girl, his wife is there. She relayed a message that the chief says that today is the day that you become one of us. Today is the day that we gonna go through the ceremony and make you part of the tribe. So the two brothers like, yeah, that's okay, yeah. So as she gets ready to turn and walk away, the one soldier, that the other soldier told him, don't do nothing wrong, man. He said, excuse me. He said, hold on, wait. So she turned back around and she asked him, she said, yeah, what's wrong? He said, I got one question. One question. I don't speak your language. He said, but what does Wahoo mean? She looked at him. She said, what? What does Wahoo mean? Wahoo. The chief looks at her. She looks at the chief. And she says something to the chief, but what she was asking the chief, should I tell him? And the chief, said in his language, yeah, hurry up and tell him. She turned back to the black soldier and she said, Wahoo means wrong hole. So the black soldier looked at he looked at his partner, he looked at her. He said, it mean what? It means wrong hole. And if you say it over and over, it means wrong hole, wrong hole, wrong hole. Now, of course, this was the end of them two, because for him to even know that word, he had to have heard that word from the chief's daughter. And so if she was saying wrong hole, why? Y'all know what happened. Partner went up in the wrong hole and she was letting him know. Needless to say, Chief wasn't stupid. The chief hollered, you had several warriors run out and grab both the soldiers and took them out into the desert and laid them on the ground and tied them to the ground, put little cuts all on their body, poured honey all over them, and they let the ants eat them up. Man, listen, the other soldier was so mad as they laying there going through torturous, agonizing pain. He said, man, what possessed you to ask him that? Why did you? Man, I'm sorry. Man, he said, but she was saying it so much, I just wanted to know what it meant. Now they knew. That was it for Soul Brother number 1 and Soul Brother number 2, y'all. So anyway, man, that's a story I made off of an old joke. I remember it was an old joke. I don't know, people out there, they might have heard the joke before back in the day, but it was an old joke, man, and I just made a story out of it for y'all. It's me, y'all, your big partner, man, Cartoon, the village storyteller, man. I'm out. Peace.